Here we go for the fourth tutorial in the stool skills exercise. So this fourth drawing, we're taking the three parts we've already drawn and we're assembling them into our final drawing. Our final drawing is going to look slightly different with the brace turned up the other way. So to start with, we need to save our drawing. You can't do an assembly if your drawing is not saved. I hope you've been using the naming conventions properly, because that's going to make everything a lot easier when we come to our assembly. You'll see I'm up to my 9th go at this. Every time I do it there's a little problem, so it gives you an indication that it's not really straightforward. There's certainly a few little tricks that you need to learn along the way. So we're going to start by dragging the stool top in, but rather than drag it, we're going to two-finger click and go insert into current design. If you drag it in, it seems to put a lot of load on your computer and on your internet connection as well. So we've got that in there, and now we're going to insert the leg into the drawing as well. And before we try and join those together, we're going to rotate the leg into a better position. Need a good spacing between those drawings because we need to be able to see in there before we make the joint. And now we're going to join. We'll just hide this away so we've got a bit more screen. And we're going to go to Assemble, Join. Again, we've got a shortcut key there, J, so click on J. And we're going to zoom in. We're going to be joining this hole with the bottom of this hole over here. So we're zooming in here. And this is what we want to join. And you can see the slight difference between these selections. That if you join there, that's the side of the circle, and that is the middle of the circle. You definitely want to click on the middle of the circle here. So very careful to make sure you select that accurately. It's the most common place you'll make your mistake. And then we need to select the underside of this circle here, so we use our orbit tool. We roll in underneath there. And I'm really going to zoom in because it's so easy to make a mistake with this. I'm going to press escape from the orbit tool, and there's the center of the circle. You can see you can also get the cylinder, the side of the circle, the center of the circle, and the cylinder. So again, we need to make sure we carefully select the center of the circle. And that's going to snap those in. That's worked really well. You can see the cylinder for the hole lines up perfectly all the way through there, so we've got a good join. I'm going to click OK, and let's just scroll out of there. That looks like a good assembly. We're going to insert the leg again for the other half. Again, we can rotate it and move it. Now you may have a problem where, for instance like that, your leg's not really in the best position before you start to do your join. So you can triple click on your leg, so 1, 2, 3, and then a two-finger click, and brings up this menu here which gives you the option to move. And again, these toggles will come back, and we can use that to slide our leg into a better position. Okay, and now we're going to create our second join, so J for join. We're going to capture that position before we go any further. And this is the second trick you need to be really aware of, as well as selecting the correct part of your drawing. When you're creating a join, this first surface that you select is the surface that moves. So I'm going to select this one first, and that's going to make the leg, this part here, move up to the stool top. If I'd selected it the other way around, but selected the stool top first, the stool top would move down to the leg. And the problem with that would be that this leg would stay in the same place, and it would be left floating in the sky. So we've got to select the piece we want to move first. So we select this, and that's going to cause this part to move up to here. It's one trick that's really quite important with your joining. So again, we're zooming right in so we can make sure we get exactly in the center of that circle. Selecting the surface we want to move first, and then rotating around. Okay, let's pack that away again so we've got a bit more space. Rotating around and zooming in. There we go. And there, we've got a nice assembly there. We'll zoom out so we can see what's going on. Okay, that looks good. Both of those are aligned nicely. Click OK to lock everything down. Bring back your data panel, and the last piece we want to bring in is the brace. So we two-finger click on that, insert it into the design. And again, we want to move this around. It's going to move 90 degrees that way, 90 degrees that way. That's probably going to do for our positioning for this. So let's hide our panel away again, and we can zoom in here. Now what we want to do with this is we want to join this surface here, this whole surface in the bottom of the join, to that surface in there. So again, it's going to be important that we carefully select our surfaces. So J for join. We're hovering in here and zoom in a little more. There. See how you can select all the edges and the circles come up facing all sorts of different directions, but this is the one we want where the whole surface is selected, and it's sort of the circles right in the middle there like that. So we're going to select that. This is the part we move, so we select this part first, and then we're going to move it over to here. Again, a bit of clever orbiting needed to get you into position, and then press escape, and we're going to just hover in there. Again, you can see we could get all these different edges and corners, but we want that flat surface with the circle in the middle. Click down, and that has come in and perfectly joined in there, and you can see at the other end the join is perfect as well. So that's a really successful assembly for us. Let's move back out to the home view, and we'll just scroll around that to check that our assembly looks good. You can see there's no gaps anywhere, everything's pulled nice and tightly together. So that's what your final assembly should look like. Once you've done that, remember to save it. And that's the end of that drawing. The next thing we're going to do is convert that drawing into a working drawing or a technical drawing, and you'll be able to print that drawing out on A3 and use it for your skills exercise. So in your 5th tutorial we'll move on to that, but that's the end of this session. Thank you.